And you're listening to the Realest podcast. What is going on, guys? Tonight was Night of Champions, Clash of Champions, what we're gonna call it. I actually went to this pay-per-view, Night of Champions, last year, which was the day that Kane returned as Mass Kane to destroy Seth Rollins.
Oh yeah, man, it feels like it forever ago.
But little did I know that Kane was done. My Kane was gone. Forever.
Forever will never come back.
So let's compare the two. Backlash was 2 weeks ago on 9/11, and Clash of Champions was today. Which pay-per-view was better?
Backlash. Definitely.
Not even a thought, huh?
No, Backlash, 100%.
Results-wise and even wrestling-wise, Backlash is way better. They were just, at least my opinion, I could be wrong with the night were disappointing in my opinion, and there was a lot of sloppiness and botches. There were a lot.
Yeah, there was even a botch in the TJ Perkins match, but that I kind of just shrugged that off because it was more of along the lines of Brian Kendrick's mistake. He leaned up instead of down, and the rest of the match was amazing. I had no issue with the Cruiserweight match at all. There's only 3 matches that I really liked that kept my attention that I was excited for. And I know you guys are going to disagree with it, but the TJ Perkins Brian Kendrick match, number 1. Number 2 was Chris Jericho Sami Zayn. They had an excellent match. And then number 3 was Kevin Owens Seth Rollins.
I think Roman Reigns and Rusev was good. I like that match. It was really back and forth, and I was waiting for it to end. I wasn't sure when it was going to end because there was a few times I thought it was going to end one way, and it really didn't. And I was surprised at a lot of conclusions of the matches. I did not expect half the winners on the card.
If you want my honest opinion, emotionally, I was not invested into this, and I wasn't invested into this as a fan. The entire time, I was just Even with the Cruiserweights, it was If you want my honest opinion, the best wrestling that we saw tonight was from Cesaro and Sheamus.
Yeah, that was great. That match was great. I don't know. I hate how they ended it, but that was one of the best matches of the night.
Just how is that your best match?
I don't know how. I was expecting it not to be a sleeper, but definitely be an kind of match. But especially how it ended. But still, it was really a great match. And the Cruiserweight match, I wanted to see a lot more high flying and that kind of thing, but that's really not Brian Kendrick's style right now. He's not. He's up there in age. Yeah. He's not trying to do it, and that's okay though. He's still a great Cruiserweight, and they still had a great match. But just that kind of guy, he's not going to be flying around like a maniac, and that's okay. But people want to see when they hear Cruiserweight, they want to see flying around all over the place, on the ropes, all that. But you're not going to see that. But yeah, a lot of matches were just disappointing, and it sucks.
And it's like I said it at the kickoff show. That's the match that we were expecting to have. This match was thrown together last minute because they needed to have this title match. It was TJ Perkins' debut match. We knew that he was going to win it. So it kind of took out the idea of, is he going to lose the title? There was no surprise there. And Brian Kendrick, we knew. The thing that I said was Brian Kendrick was going to dominate the match, and he did. Because that was what needed to be done. That's the way Brian Kendrick wrestles. That's the way the match would have benefited both superstars, and it ended the exact way that we predicted. TJ Perkins would beat him clean, and he would attack him after the match. Simple as that. Now it sets up Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins Part 2.
Yeah, it's going to deliver a story more than anything. In my opinion, it's going to set a rivalry because, that's actually one of the things I thought. I was like, man, if there was a story behind this match, it'd be so much better. But even, man, that triple threat match with the women, I picked that. I didn't say pick because I really didn't pick it on here, but I really thought that had the potential of being the match of the night, the one that steals the show. But it was let's hang back a little bit, which is understandable because, oh my goodness, did they take chances whenever they were, whenever at SummerSlam. Sasha Banks has nearly broken her neck. In the past 3 times Sasha Banks has wrestled.
You want someone
Yeah, I
else
mean,
breaking your neck? Look at what Cesaro did with Sheamus,
yeah,
dude. I thought his neck
that
was
was a
shot.
close call.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
you want to talk about that? That's the first thing I noticed with that match. I'm surprised they didn't end the match right then and there, the way he landed on his neck.
There was just a lot of sloppiness tonight. And I was
Yeah.
disappointed. I mean, Raw's supposed to be the A show, but tonight, not even just the results and how the matches ended, just the wrestling was so sloppy. And I don't know why. These guys do this all the time. They should be fine doing it. They're facing the
And I
same guys.
think you said it best. The match that we all expected, like secretly expected to surprise us, was the women's championship match. Like, okay, these three together, genius. But they just didn't. I don't know if it's because they didn't deliver, or because we've pretty much seen it all, what all three can offer at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like they haven't really done anything to change the game because we kind of already know what all three of them can do. I don't know. It seemed like such a big letdown. It's just like I couldn't really place it as it's a okay. We're getting tired of this kind of thing, or the fact that it was just I don't know. It just didn't live up to the hype.
You know, going into this pay-per-view, I honestly thought that, man, I honestly, you know, looking at both pay-per-views, you kind of could look at what the card would be, and this is before Backlash, or even after Backlash, I was really, man, the Raw pay-per-view is going to be really good. I honestly think the Raw pay-per-view will up Backlash, which is going to be great, because if you look at the card on paper, this card is amazing. First off, you look at the Cruiserweight Classic, or the Cruiserweight Championship. We've seen the Cruiserweight Classic. Brian Kendrick has done amazing. TJP has done amazing. It's like, that's going to be it. That's going to easily be a classic. Then you look at, you know, I'm going to X out Cesaro and Sheamus and Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho because those matches were eh. Well, Cesaro and Sheamus was, in my opinion, really great. But you look at the U.S. title, yeah, that has a potential of being okay. The championship in general, the WWE Universal Championship has the potential of being really, really good. Then you have the Tag Team Championship, which if they would let Gallows and Anderson loose, that match can be really good. That match wasn't even that bad, but just the outcome ruined it. And then you have, I think that's it, really. I already said the Women's Championship, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did. But if I didn't, that had also the potential of being, you know, the match of the night. And the best match, in my opinion, on this whole card was Sheamus versus Cesaro, and we didn't even get a winner. And we're going to see this match again.
That's see that they're it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. They're doing the same thing over and over again with a lot of the talent. Like here you are with Cesaro and Sheamus. This is going to be the 11th time. I'm sick of this, man. I didn't even give a. You know what? I probably would have agreed with you about that being match of the night, but I was so sick of it. I didn't give a crap. To be honest, I'm tired of it. Same thing with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. I used to love Gallows and Anderson. When they came in, I was all aboard the club train. But with the way they booked the club and the way that creative has used them with the New Day, I'm just like, damn, get them out of my sight. I don't even want to have a New Day versus club anymore. I'm sick of it. I want Gallows and Anderson to be doing something else where they're actually being productive.
It's like
Yeah,
on
exactly.
It's like on Raw. They're like, let's go with unpredictability instead of some of the like. Here's the thing: being predictable is sometimes a good thing. It is. It is sometimes a good thing. But it's like, okay, well, let's make this unpredictable for people that are gonna, you know, put the matches out there. Come on, man. We only, which is usually one of those nights that's like, or you know, one of those pay-per-views that championship belts are usually exchanged. We're only going to have one exchange tonight, and that being the U.S. title.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. Especially like not just being Raw's first pay man, but just I mean it's a new. They keep saying they keep preaching it's a new era, but you keep almost all the same champions. Like, give other guys, give it new talent. Like we saw at Backlash. We saw AJ Styles being the new guy to like run with the new era kind of thing. That was a great thing. I'm not even saying the Universal Championship had to be changed, but just like more titles besides just one changing it. Let the new era keep like going through, make it new champions, give it like a new feel. Not having New Day, who have had the titles for over a year, who don't need it anymore, who are burying a new team like Gallows and Anderson by beating them and embarrassing them pretty much over and
They
over and over.
and here's what's sad is they won dirty. Again, they won dirty.
It's ridiculous. Like, why? And this feud from the beginning hasn't even been good. It's been horrible. On the mic, in the ring, no one has liked it. It's been awful. So end it, or just give Gallows and Anderson the titles and then, like, move on, something like that. Because if you're going to keep this feud going, let them come out on top once in a while, whether non-title or title match. We literally never see them come out on top, pretty much.
In reality,
Well,
They just win. Give them the belts.
all month they were coming out on top though. All month, Gallows and Anderson have been pinning the New Day all month, and as soon as they get to a pay-per-view, they look like little sad clowns. If you want my opinion, if WWE creative is smart, this is it. That was the last chance for Gallows and Anderson. Even if Gallows and Anderson would have won tonight, that's it. I don't even give a crap if New Day wants a rematch. I wouldn't give it to them. This is just it's so frustrating as a fan to see this match over and over again, and people aren't excited for it. I mean, yeah, they're happy New Day retains, and, a lot of the reason why they're retaining and been champions for so long is because they're so popular with the kids. Let's face it, they're popular with the kids and the fans. But it's just not good business to do what they're doing with creative story right now. And they're doing it again with Cesaro. I'm to the point where I don't even care about Cesaro. And that's a shame because Cesaro is probably one of the best underestimated talents in the WWE history. And he's underutilized. He's always been underutilized. And for me as a fan, it's taken away the prestige of Cesaro.
Right,
Yeah.
and I understand completely that that New Day's they're so popular, they're great with kids, all that stuff. But getting a title kind of thing, especially for like a newer talent like the New Day was a year ago, that they gave them the titles to get them over with the crowd, to get them over and over and get them pumping more. They are beyond over now. They don't need the belts to get over. They don't need them anymore at all. So give it to a team like Gallows and Anderson, who still needs to get over, who, yes, are a huge tag team from New Japan. They have that popularity going for them. But in WWE, they do not have that popularity yet. So if you give them the belts, let them build their characters, their gimmicks, just them in general, then they'll be a big tag team too. New Day can survive easily without the belts. They don't need them. They're not even titles anymore. They're just wearing belts around their waist for nothing. They don't need the belts. They can go on, have a feud with another tag team, with Enzo and Cass, with Shining Stars, with anyone else, and do just as well as they're doing now. Give the belts to someone who needs it. They need to do that like ASAP because they're killing tag teams.
Back to the point of belts that need to be moved off of. I think Rusev needed to keep his belt. I think Charlotte needed to lose hers. Reason being, I think Charlotte's good with the belt. I think she's a great heel, but we've seen it for over a year now, and it's kind of like, okay, it's time for that to change. Let's see what happens with a change, and then possibly go back to her after a little bit. Give someone else a chance to have a story with someone else. And man, I hated that Bayley got pinned clean again, but
Without a finisher too.
Yeah,
without a finisher.
But man, Sasha Banks put her finisher on 2 or 3 times, if not more. That got kicked out, and Dana Brooke in there was just so annoying the entire time.
Oh my god.
New Day, yes, I agree they need to get the belts off their waist because, again, I asked this question months and months ago. Is the New Day making the tag team division better, or are they making themselves better? And, we all can sit down and say the New Day is only there to make themselves better instead of their division, and that's what they have done. Kevin Owens, I think, is a great champion. I think him losing or him winning bad or, dirty, in a sense, is great. I think, Raw will be interesting between Stephanie and Seth Rollins because you can play she only brought him in there because she saw Kevin Owens getting back up kind of a way. But, man, I think I gave Backlash a 7 or 8, and I'm giving this one a 4 or 5.
Yeah, this really was disappointing. I was disappointed too in the main event. We've been hearing for weeks since Kevin Owens became champion about Triple H, about Triple H, about Triple H. And now tonight we don't even see anything with him. We don't even hear his music. Nothing happened with him. I want to see him just come out and do something, man. You keep talking about the guy. He comes in one time and then just gone. Just gone completely. Like, have him be more involved in this feud, because that's how this feud started. He started completely Triple H coming in and basically handing Kevin Owens the title, giving him the victory over Seth Rollins. I want to see him come in more, build himself more in the feud, because that makes this feud and rivalry way more interesting than it already is. And this feud's great, don't get me wrong. Seth Rollins against Kevin Owens, they had a great match. They're great on the mic. I love it. But I want to see Triple H be in the middle of it to make it even better. And they didn't do that tonight. They could have taken advantage of it easily. Maybe he was away on business. I don't know, but still, like if it was possible to take advantage of it, they should have had him in there tonight because it would have made it so much better. Have his music hit, have him come out and help Kevin Owens win again. Have him and Seth Rollins get in a brawl. Have something happen.
That's just the thing. They're saving that match for a big pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree.
I keep hearing Survivor Series. I think it's bigger than Survivor Series, but that's just me. And that's why Triple H didn't come out. I expected Triple H to come out, but you could have had Triple H come out, but at that point, it's kind of like now he has to be involved in Raw television taping. At that point,
I'm still okay
you can't
with
just have him show up and leave again.
I'm still okay with him not coming out tonight. Because what you could do is have Stephanie, defending herself, and finally she's fed up with it and say, "Do you really want me to do this?" And then, her final okay, F you is Triple H coming out.
Yeah. Well, I will say this about the main event. And I really want you guys to think about it, and everyone listening at home, I want you to think about it. The way in which they're conducting Raw, at least when it comes to the high-stakes matches, hasn't really been done that way since the Attitude Era. Think about it. When's the last time we've really seen a referee get knocked out, like completely knocked out, and then all hell breaks loose? It just doesn't happen that much in the WWE anymore. They're bringing back the crazy storylines and the high drama, And I like that about the ending of the match. A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Kevin Owens just didn't win clean. Get over it. He's a heel. Heels are supposed to win dirty. It's exciting to see that it's not the same predictable shit. And that's the thing I liked about the ending of the last match. We all knew Kevin Owens was going to win. We knew Kevin Owens was going to win dirty. It was interesting to see that the referee was knocked out, and that's where all hell broke loose. We had Jericho all over the place. You had, the referee getting knocked out, another referee coming in, Kevin Owens just sneaking in there and getting the pin.
I think that the end was good, had a lot of drama, but I think just with how the entire pay-per-view went, it was just, I didn't have any energy. I didn't want to give any energy, but, the ending was okay. I enjoyed the ending. I liked how much drama it had. It kind of seemed like Seth Rollins was turning into Superman, but he still lost, which, I actually text Andrew and said this, and Kyle, you can give your expert opinion because you're such an expert, but, what is your, I think that's just a, Seth Rollins turning into a face. That's a face turn. That match was him turning into a face.
I definitely agree. That's what I was saying, yesterday on our predictions, is that I was saying what tonight could have been is that I really wanted to see the match end with Triple H helping out Kevin Owens, and then Seth Rollins just beating down Kevin Owens or Triple H, something like that, and that would be an easy babyface turn. And that'd be fine, because like I said, Raw right now needs a top babyface, and there's no one to do it. Finn Balor's not there. There's no one else that could really take the spot at the moment, except maybe Cesaro if him and his Sheamus feud ever ends, but he's not going to be able to do it. So Seth Rollins is the perfect guy in the moment. I want to see him be a heel, but he could easily slide into being a babyface, especially in this situation. But it could be a lot easier if they incorporate Triple H into it. But I do agree with you saying that Seth Rollins could easily slide in to be a babyface. It'd be great to see because the crowd already loves him already. They cheered him already before, but I think even the younger fans kind of thing are getting more into him now, especially because Kevin Owens is putting him more over as a face. So it can work perfectly if they actually if they embrace it though, because they're hinting at it, but they're not going through with it yet. He's still got the heel tendencies, all about him, that kind of thing. So I don't know what they're doing with him yet.
I agree with that. I don't think he's fully a face yet. I do agree with that.
I honestly don't think he's going to be a full face. I don't. I think he's going to more along the lines be like a Dean Ambrose type. He's just going to be a face that acts like a heel sometimes, kind of like the in-between gray area, like a Stone Cold. Because that's not the type of person that Rollins is, Like, it's sort of like the Orton face. He's really good as a heel, but even when he's a face, he's kind of a heel, And I feel like that's the direction they're going with Seth Rollins. I feel like everyone at this point knows that he's a face, but he's not switching his attitude up, which is kind of good because that was the attitude that got him where he was. That's the attitude that everybody likes about Seth Rollins.
There's actually a rumor going around that there could be a possibility that the Shield is going to be getting back together because apparently when Raw went off TV, if I'm not mistaken, it was either Seth Rollins came in and helped Roman Reigns or Roman Reigns came in and helped Seth Rollins. I don't know which way it went, but there's a rumor going around that the Shield is going to reunite.
I don't know. I doubt. I think it'll be just like. I think it'll be the situation where it's two different feuds. It'll be like a tag team match of two different feuds coming together. Like it'll be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins against Kevin Owens and Rusev, just a tag team match, just like to put two feuds together, kind of thing. I don't think they'll actually reunite, kind of thing. It'd be cool to see. I highly doubt it. I think they already went every way they could with it, and it's gonna let the Shield just stop, just like let it just be done.
Well,
it was pretty well lasted.
Well, I think that they're going to bring the Shield back together, just not now. I feel like people would like to see the Shield get together, yeah, but with the brand split, it makes it so difficult. Because once you start letting talent from other shows get involved with feuds from other shows like that, it really takes away from the allure of, you can only see John Cena on SmackDown. You know what I mean? I just don't think they're going to ruin that, separatism there. I mean, we have the pay-per-views every 2 weeks, which is good because, especially if you're like a hardcore SmackDown fan, like I find myself saying, like you guys asked me yesterday which show I prefer, and I said Raw. Like after tonight, I'm kind of like, yeah, SmackDown. It's just it's hard to pick which show you like because of both shows have been kind of up and down. Raw has been really good when it comes to their actual shows leading up to it. The pay-per-view, though, was completely one-sided. It was more of a SmackDown thing,
Yeah, I just can't get over the fact that I was more into Cesaro and Sheamus than I was with anything else. I really can't. I think that's crazy. But, man, I get why the women's wrestlers, the women's match kind of went back. Like let's chill out with this one. I also, understand why Bayley took the pin. She's still really brand new to the company. She doesn't need to have a title shot. Let's also wait for like WrestleMania for that to happen. And again, I get why Charlotte has the belt because you can't trust Sasha Banks right now. You can't, and that's the God honest truth. You cannot trust Sasha Banks with the title around her waist. But
that sucks because I mean she deserves it so much. Like before, I just wish we could have seen where if she didn't get her back hurt by Charlotte, like what would be happening right now because she really does deserve that title. Let her have it. Charlotte's had her time with it. That's it's a New Day situation. Charlotte's done great with the title, and she doesn't need the title more to be over. She's good right now. She could lose the title and give it to somebody who needs it. Sasha's really needed, but give it to like somebody like Sasha or even Bayley or just somebody else kind of thing. It's just like same champion, same thing. It sucks. We're in a new era, but nothing has really changed. At least on Raw. SmackDown, things are changing like crazy. We have new tag team champions, new women's champion, new WWE champion. And then Raw, we come to Raw, we have one new champion.
But here's the thing, Charlotte. You can make the argument that Charlotte is also a part of the new era because she really is.
Yeah, she is, but still, though, she's had the title for so long. Like, give it to somebody else who needs it. Yeah, she's a part of the new era, but still, not like... Well, she's a part of the women's revolution, but not really the new era.
That's just the definition of Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is keep the same champions and have them reign long and long and long and long and long. It's the same song over and over again. I mean, it's... Like I said, it's to the point, at least for me, to where I'm turned off to certain superstars and certain matches, which is a shame because a lot of those superstars are really talented and really could do something if creative did something creatively with them. And then you got Sasha Banks. You said, yeah, she's not healthy, or she hasn't been healthy. But the way in which they took the title away from her, considering that she was right back. She was gone for what? Maybe 2-3 weeks? Tops. And she was back in action.
Yeah, but
that wasn't a Finn Balor injury. And, you took the title away from her in under a month. So now she falls into the same category as people like Jeff Hardy. People who've deserved the title, and when they finally win it, the company takes the title away from them, and they don't get the title again. Same thing with Christian. Christian was somebody who, for the longest time, worked his ass off, and he finally got his championship match, and he lost it to Randy Orton the next pay-per-view.
You're right, she does deserve...
Or the day after.
She does deserve the championship belt, but what they were doing is they took it off because they thought that her back injury was serious. So did she. That's why they got it off of her. That way she could have time off. There was rumors that it was going to be, 2 to 4 months before she came back. She came back in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was not nearly as serious as what they thought it was. And in that situation, I honestly felt like they jumped the gun.
Well, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Of course. But, how long have we had there's been times where we've had a champion that was out for a month and they kept the title on them, Or and that's where I get frustrated, where you have the Brock Lesnar's who are part-timers and he never defended his title, on a consistent basis. But when, you have somebody like Sasha Banks who you think might be injured, you jump the gun, be safe than sorry, sure, I understand that. But you take the title off of her when they could have done something different.
You're right, but
they could have had her.
But again, you have to play into this. It's either 2 or 4 months to 2 to 3 weeks. They thought 2 or 4 months, which is okay because I always do that. I look at it as, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, this is the worst thing that can happen. Do I risk it and say, okay, keep it on for 2 to 3 weeks and not have her on, but have her do promos, or do I just take it off of her because there's that chance of 2 to 4 months where she'll have to just drop the title. Sasha was in a lose-lose. And I think WWE did that one right. 100% did that one right. And with Lesnar, I don't like that they did that with Lesnar, but, Lesnar was going to get the title no matter what. And I'm sure, and unless he doesn't re-sign, I'm sure the title will go back to him, because who is he going to wrestle after this?
I don't really see him lining up with anybody but Goldberg at this point. And I really don't want to see that match again. I don't. That was one of the biggest hype matches of WrestleMania at the time, and it was a complete letdown match.
Yeah. But we have 2 weeks until No Mercy, which has the potential of being another great pay-per-view. And then Hell in a Cell, which I think if they kind of go extreme with Hell in a Cell, that can be even better than the SmackDown. But, if you want my final thought, SmackDown, the floor is yours. You guys are being consistent with your TV tapings, and you're also being very with your one pay-per-view. You're being consistent. And to be honest with you, they've stepped up since that first show. I remember watching the first show and being like, man, this is awful. I don't even know why I'm doing, even why I'm watching this. But I still have a complaint, and you won't get a 10 out of 10 from me until that camera angle changes.
You and that camera angle.
And it was funny, too, because even on the prediction show, because you asked the question, which show is better right now? Me and Andrew said Raw, and you said SmackDown. But after watching this pay-per-view, I don't know, but Andrew, my opinion's changed. SmackDown's the better show, because Raw was good on shows, but on pay-per-view, they lose big time to SmackDown. But seeing the differences in the shows now, especially compared to the pay-per-views, like I said, it's that SmackDown is definitely the superior show right now. They have way better going. They have a lot more momentum right now with all the new talent, new champions, fresh faces, that kind of thing. And Raw is the veteran side, the same guys kind of thing. We're seeing the same stale stuff on there. So my opinion definitely changed. I'm with you, man. SmackDown's definitely the better show right now.
In reality, it kind of seems like they're favoring toward the kids on that show, and then on this show they're kind of going... On SmackDown, they're going for okay, we'll give the internet fans something to cheer about.
Yeah, which is a good thing because the crowd loves it. Like giving Heath Slater that chance, that was amazing. Giving Becky Lynch the chance finally, that's amazing too. She deserves it so much. Giving AJ Styles the opportunity was amazing. Giving fresh faces is what you need to do because people love it. They want to see fresh faces. They don't want to see. I mean, people love the New Day, but I guarantee there's a lot of people, not just us, that want to see new tag team champions. People want to see a new women's champion. They want to see fresh faces get the belts and get opportunities. That's what we want to see. Not Roman Reigns having a title again, being that guy again. People don't want to see this. It's the same guys, same matches over and over again. It's getting stale.
I think with the New Day, though... go ahead.
To be completely honest with you, I would have been outraged. Probably would have quit the show, to be completely honest with you. Hang on a second. Sorry, I had to sneeze. To be completely real with you, if AJ Styles would not have gotten a WWE title around his waist while he is at WWE, I would have been outraged. I probably would have quit the show. I'm not lying. That guy deserves it more than anyone else in that locker room, and I'm glad he's got it.
It's only a matter of time before he did it. I mean, like we were saying it and saying it and saying it. You know, he's been in so many title matches. It just... When you're looking at like the new era and like the reluctancy for the titles to drop on Raw, I think out of all the champions, the reluctancy to drop the titles with the New Day is probably the one that actually has the most legitimacy. And I say that only because I feel like I said before, that the only reason why they keep the titles on them is because they're so popular with the fan base and it's popular with the kids. And I don't think they want to risk breaking them up. And I feel like when they finally lose the title, it'll probably be because one of them turned on the other and cost them the titles. Like, that's probably where this is going at this point. And I feel like once New Day loses the titles, they're going to break up. And I don't think that they want to risk losing that because of all the business the New Day brings in.
Yeah. But, let's just get this going. You know, what are y'all's final thoughts on this pay-per-view? And, you know, for the future to come, what do you guys think?
Well, I think Raw needs to get out of that rut. I think they need to really sit down with creative and really rethink in the direction that their show is going. And I say that because I'm sick and tired of seeing like the general managers come out. I think we've actually seen too much of the general managers and like the commissioners. I think they have like a over-welcoming presence on this show to the point where I'm kind of getting annoyed of seeing Daniel Bryan every 5 minutes. That's like one critique for both shows. For Raw, it's like I hate when like Mick Foley comes up and says, "Well, tonight's been a good night so far." No, Mick, it hasn't. It hasn't. I mean, I know you're getting paid to say it, but you need to give me a reason to say, "Oh yeah, totally, good show." You need to rethink your creative strategy, and you need to kind of rebrand everything. We need to see more out of Raw. I want to see more of what we saw with Kevin Owens. I want to see some of the crazy stuff break down. I want to see Michael Cole go crazy. Like, I actually want to see Michael Cole call a match with emotion. That is something that WWE hasn't had in a long time. I don't see Corey Graves stepping up to do that. Byron Saxton is just annoying. I'm sorry. So, as much as annoying as Michael Cole is the only one with the experience and with the possibility of doing that. I want to see more emotion with the Raw casting team. Same thing with the SmackDown. I mean, I feel like JBL needs to step up. He's been there long enough. He's been doing the announcing long enough. He needs to step up as well. So, I mean, that's my final thoughts for the shows.
Kyle?
I mean, Andrew really hit it on the head. I agree with everything he said. Just Raw needs to really just take a few notes from SmackDown and really just give some fresh faces some shots. I'm not saying just like guys like Gallows and Anderson, guys like Sasha Banks, just in general, give some fresher talent, more spotlight. Even if it's not for a title, give them more spotlight. Put them in non-title matches with them. Give them more just, I mean, spotlight's the perfect word. Just give Gallows and Anderson chances they need. Give Sasha Banks, people like that, Bayley more shots. Even Dana Brooke, give her some chances. Give people in general more chances. Not the same Rusev seeing all the time, New Day seeing all the time, Charlotte we're seeing all the time. It's the same people over and over, and it's getting boring and boring and boring. Whether we watch a show like SmackDown, it's like, oh my god, look at all this new talent. We have Heath Slater and Rhino as champions. Becky Lynch has her shot. AJ Styles is a champion. We see so many fresh faces, so much fresh talent getting the spotlight, and the crowd loves it. I think if you look at the ratings, I mean, SmackDown, maybe they're not beating Raw, but they're definitely got to be coming closer. They are doing amazing things right now. They're on a wave of momentum, and Raw's got to take notes and change their show. Because if they keep this going, they're going to go from the A show to the B show in a heartbeat. Because, I mean, even the casual fans, they're going to start liking SmackDown more, I guarantee it. It's just a way better and fresher show right now.
Yeah, I agree. And if you want my honest opinion on all this, when it comes to this particular, final thought, I think the third hour, like I said on the pre-show, is really showing how much it is kicking Raw's butt. 2 hours it's shown how much they can do with 2 hours and how fitting it has been. And then Raw's 3 hours is really shown how much they are struggling. And we can throw in, the cruiserweights are there now. We'll see, because the cruiserweight match was really good. But we'll see how that goes. Because we're about to have TJP versus...
And also the wrestling needs to step it up. Because, I'm sorry, but the wrestling needs to step it up because tonight's wrestling, not even just the decisions, the wrestling was just sloppy as hell. There were a lot of botches, and they were just not... it didn't seem like a lot of the wrestlers were into it for how much they were messing up. It was frustrating to watch because these are guys that have been doing this for a long time that are botching like crazy, and it's frustrating so to see. So they need to also get the wrestling up to par because it's frustrating to watch it. From a person who's watched wrestling for a long ass time, it's frustrating to watch.
See, that's the thing. I don't think it has to do with the botches. I don't think that's the major concern about what's going on. And I'm beating this over to like a dead horse. I feel like what it is it's repetitive. It's the fact that you're seeing the same things over and over again. That's why you're getting frustrated with this. I mean, yeah, the wrestling wasn't as good as we thought it was, but how much are you going to get from the same matches over and over again? Even for like the best of feuds, you can't have the match over and over again. Eventually, you're going to get sour of it.
Yeah.
And like right now, everybody's just sick and tired of everything that's going on. That's why nobody's emotionally invested in any of these matches. It's because we're not seeing anything different. Where on SmackDown, we're seeing feuds that we never even thought we'd ever see. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. Rhino and Heath Slater versus the Usos, who are now heel. That's exciting. That's new. That's fresh. I don't think we've ever seen the Usos as a heel. So this is an interesting take on them.
Yeah. And, it's nuts, man. It really is. Usually with our results shows, we usually say, okay, well, this happened. Well, we'll usually go on. It's okay, so we'll start off with this match. This, and this happened. What are our thoughts, man? We didn't even go over a match. That's how like sour this pay-per-view was to us. We immediately went into, wow, this wasn't good. This wasn't.
It was just a disappointment, like especially not even just compared to Backlash, especially compared to Backlash, it's a disappointment between the wrestling and the decisions wise, but just in general, just for this being Raw and this being the A show, it was just a disappointment. Just it's frustrating. Man. It's just in general, not like it's before, not even just the wrestling, just the whole pay-per-view is just frustrating. They were saying how great of a show it was. No, like Andy said, no, Mick, it was not a great show. It wasn't amazing wrestling. It wasn't at all, dude.
And to think that SmackDown's pay-per-view ended 30 minutes early.
Yeah, compared to Raw, yeah. It just goes to show you, like, sometimes less is good. But, I mean, there was a lot of times tonight where it could have gone on a little bit longer and it would have been better off. Like, the whole Cesaro ending was... As soon as I saw both of them go over there and they were just laying there for a minute and all the doctors were coming in, I'm like, oh, God, here we go again. Like, we knew there was going to be a no contest, which means there's going to be another match somewhere down the road. It gets frustrating. Same thing with their whole Rusev thing. I'm okay. Let me be the first to admit it. I'm okay with Reigns being champion. I would have been perfectly fine if Rusev won today. Not necessarily clean, but beat Reigns, and then the next pay-per-view have a rematch and Reigns would have won. I think Rusev needed that win to kind of solidify himself as a top contender. and possibly put him up in the main event picture sometime in the future. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to see that Roman Reigns is going to stay at the mid-card level. And that's all that tonight really proved for him, was that he was going to stay at the mid-card level. It's kind of like you're giving the fans what they want, finally. He's not going to be in the main event picture. As long as he has that title, he's on the mid-card.
Yeah. To end it all, though, I'm going to give this one a 4. For a pay-per-view that's bad. Giving it a 4.
I can't do it. And you both know how I am. I'm normally the over generous type, so I'm gonna say 4. I think giving it any more than that is just overly generous. And like I said, I was only invested in 3 matches, which was the Kevin Owens match, the Jericho and Sami Zayn match, and the Cruiserweight match. Those are the only ones that I was invested in. As much as, I mean, like I said, I probably would have been invested in Cesaro, but I was so sick of it, I don't care.
Yeah, I'll give it a. I want to agree with you guys as a 4, but I mean, looking at the match, at least some of the matches I was really interested in, like the main event, the women's match, the cruiserweight match, the Cesaro and Sheamus match, I would give it a 5, just because I mean, I didn't like a lot of the matches, obviously, and the outcomes, but there were those few matches that I did like, really did keep me invested in the pay-per-view, keep me wanting to watch it, so I would give it a 5.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for us here. Again, we're not going to be live for Monday night or Tuesday. We're going to be going back to. We'll be back at the next pay-per-view, which will be No Mercy in 2 weeks, and then Hell in a Cell. We'll go live. We won't go live with that, but we'll have a show out for Hell in a Cell, and then I will be back in Texas, and we will be going live every Monday, every Tuesday. Show something up every Wednesday, and then when it comes to Thursdays, I do not know what is going on with next big, not next big thing, but in game. I need to talk to them. So, yeah. Until then, for Andrew and Kyle, I'm Blake, and peace out, guys.